now, baby, right now. With improv, baby, right now, 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 now.
Hello.
Hello.
I got to do a dramatic entrance because the dog was licking my toe, and I was surprised by that.
It was very dramatic and theatrical, which are common themes on this show.
What? I mean, you don't say. It seems like just the right type of people to put on a live show.
Just the right type of people. Yeah, we're back live, everybody. Thank you and welcome back. Thanks for joining us on your lunch breaks or on your time theft. Maybe you're listening, maybe you're watching us with headphones on at your desk and everyone thinks you're working. And we encourage that. Have another tab open if you need to. If you need to click out of us and still listen, that's fine. That's fine. It'll keep playing on the YouTube or the Facebook Live. No one's got to know. It's
time theft.
If you don't take back from the company, they will only have taken from you. So you've got to think about it that way.
Buller, I pass on your advice to me so often, which is you got to find ways to take the power back. Sometimes you take an extra office supply that is legal because it's there for you.
There for you. Yeah, you need it. You need it. Well, it's just like, that you're getting underpaid, especially if you're getting a job that you're getting underpaid. And I think statistically speaking, most of the country is getting underpaid. So if you're getting underpaid, you have to compensate in other ways, which one way can be time theft, brought to you by your favorite comedian friends at Who's Around.
Oh, it's almost like we don't believe in end stage capitalism.
Is that what that means? Is that almost? It's almost like that.
It's like that.
Yeah, it's like that. So we and Taro Bang, we have a great show for you today, because all of our shows are great, and so likely it is. We're going to talk again at the end of the show, and we'll find out if it was great. But I think it's gonna be.
We're gonna circle back. I want to hear if there's somebody that's gonna say there's some magic words. Chloe does laundry during the day. Working from home. That's a great time to do.
You have to do something because you are getting exploited right now. So all you can do is just exploit a little back. You
hear about soft quitting, or like, yeah.
Wait, what do you mean soft quitting?
It's a thing that doesn't exist, that has been made up by like a corporate executive and written about. It's like, hey, people aren't really giving their all at work. It's like they're only putting in the 9 to 5, and it's like, no,
you haven't just handed in.
Yeah, soft quitting is not soft quitting. It's just doing your job and not smiling at your boss when they pass you in the hall every single time because you're not responsible or paid for that.
Yeah, and I think that sometimes it's really hard to stay not disassociated. That job, it's really hard. In all fairness, but I could talk about bad jobs all day. I've had a ton of them. But right now we're here to talk about doing it all by yourself.
They look just like the movie.
That was part of the movie.
That was part of the movie. That was the LG cut.
Got the rights to it, but you know what? That's how big we're getting though in this show. Is that we're so big. Speaking of big, let's bring out Trevor from the chat now from the show.
Don't be fooled by this good-looking cat. I'm still Trevor from the chat. I used to type a little, now I type a lot. Anytime you chat, you know where I came from. I'm still Trevor from the chat.
I wish I had gotten you playing piano, but that was beautiful.
Oh, that was amazing. Trevor, thanks so much for joining us. Mm-hmm. So Trevor, right now, are you time thieving?
Yeah. Oh, you can say allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. Yeah.
Allegedly. Yeah, cool.
We got to make a bumper for that. I'm going to write that down.
Yeah, alleged time stealing. Yeah, for
Oh
sure.
yeah, oh yeah. Anal. We got to put alleged in there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Trevor, the theme for today's show is I can do it all by myself. Or I'll do it myself. And this theme is inspired by my continued journey for diagnosis. So yeah. I actually recently I saw this. I've seen these posts before, but I saw another one recently that was like, sort of poo-pooing self-diagnosis. And by poo-pooing, I mean like
That's the clinical term.
That's a clinical term. For those of you who don't speak the clinical terms, poo-pooing something is to sort of disagree with it. And I got inspired for this theme because I actually was like, I want to make sure that the baby's roaring in the background, that people know that you can actually have a different viewpoint. You can actually, what's the opposite of poo-pooing? You can anal a self-diagnosis. Is that? Am I doing this right?
It sounds like a slippery slope, but I understand. I'm with you.
You know what I'm saying, right? It's not the poo-pooing. It's
people don't often feel empowered to disagree with medical professionals or behavioral professionals.
The pee-pee, is it the pee-peeing? Ooping?
It's the pee-peeing.
Some people was pee-peeing or ooping. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the opposite of ooping is.
Chloe is a urethral expert.
Yeah, I do agree with you. I think there is a good amount on TikTok. What I guess I've seen shade thrown from either medical professionals, or I think some folks who have perhaps like have a psychology degree. They're like, no, you can't just self-diagnose. And I understand that because it's like they went through all that schooling and stuff, and like like I have this knowledge. I went through schooling to get this knowledge, and you can't just like do it. But I feel that it is. I have a lot of support for self. I'm a what now? What? I don't know. LG said something. Chloe, I didn't say anything. I didn't say you're fine. No.
Urethral. Narrow. Yeah.
Is there urethra the opposite of the poop?
I don't know.
Is it esophageal? Is it esophageal? Is that the opposite?
It's
because then you're on the other end.
It's like when does a fart turn into a burp?
Right.
Kind of.
We're gonna figure this out. We're gonna devote the entire show to figuring this out, everybody. What's the opposite of poo-pooing? Yeah.
Well, you have been right along in your self-diagnosis and diagnosis journey, trying to get anybody to listen to you and how your symptoms impact your actual life, and that's hard.
And I actually got another new development. So I think I've caught up folks up before, is that like I tried to get evaluated. The eval didn't go, it didn't go as I expected, because the person was just like really misinformed about some of the stuff. And I was like, okay, that's defeating, but maybe, I had a lot of self-doubt. I went to my PCP and I was like, explain all these things. PCP was like, why don't you just get a second opinion? Because it's obviously not aligning with what you experienced. And I was like, wow, okay, great. So I go to get sick. They hands me to an eval. I get the appointment, go through the questionnaire. They're like, yeah, you definitely need to get evaluated for both autism and ADHD. You're like, they did like one little, like a 7-question thing. They're like, oh yeah, no, you definitely do need to get evaluated. You're having other symptoms. I think that'd be a great idea. And I was like, oh my God, great. Such validation. Yes. Okay. What do I do now? How do I set the appointment? They're like, oh no, we don't do that. I was like, what? They're like, we don't do these evaluations. We do think you should. But if you do get the evaluation, then they say you need medical management, come to us and we can, get you prescriptions of what you need. And I was like, damn it. So I'm back to square one. I actually have to go back to, once again, going through and calling all these places to see if they will do an amuse-bouche appointment, if you will. Yes, it was. I was like, wow. And I realized too, like before the appointment, I was getting a little bit nervous about the eval, and Bagley was like, oh, it's probably not. He's like, it's probably like last time, the first point was probably even not the eval. The first point is probably assessment to see if you need the eval, and then they'll do the eval next. I was like, oh yeah, you're probably right. But then just to find out that they don't even do that there, I was like, what in the jazz is that? And Yeah.
That
And
feels a little insurance I don't know.
oh, so what did you charge me for like a BuzzFeed quiz about my autism and ADHD? I agree with your quiz results, but cool. Yeah.
Oh,
I was like, okay.
which neurodivergency are you?
Yeah, through toaster ovens. It was like a whole thing. I had to select which toaster oven I was, and then based on how many features I have, and I was like, well, I'm certainly not the 4-in-1. I can't do that many things at once. I get really thrown off, and like none with the bells and whistles, any kind of dinging I was not going to have. Any toaster ovens that had like a bzzz, they're like, can you toaster oven make noise? I was like, no, I can't handle that constant noise. It's not.
I mean, that's basically a sensory issue.
Like, yeah, exactly. And then you find out which toaster oven you are. I ended up being a Food Ninja toaster oven, and then that's where they're like, definitely get the assessment for autism and ADHD. No, none of that toaster ovens part is true, but it was just like one of those things. She was like, oh yeah, based on this, everything you're describing. And so in that way it was validating, because I had like a real doctor being like, oh yeah, absolutely get evaluated. You definitely should. And he's like, sounds like you need medicine management for this to be added into. I was like, great, I'm open to that. Like all stuff like that. I was like, wow, I really did this step. And then like, oh yeah, we don't do that here. What?
The hardest part for people with maybe some of those processing and order of operations issues, to make one appointment is hard. I don't know. Trevor, do you have a hard time calling or making appointments? I've made appointments for other people. Oof, yeah.
Yeah. It's one of those things. I hate phone calls. I don't really like phone calls.
Yeah, I hate phone calls too.
You're so good at we understand that though. We have made appointment calls for each other and not for ourselves.
Yeah,
I'm wondering if I should get the internet to make my therapist appointment call.
Yeah, you can actually, even with therapists, it was great or at least my last therapist, I didn't even have to call to get the therapist. I just emailed. It was all through email, completely email. I didn't have to talk to a single person. So a lot of places do that now. Also PCP, setting up my appointments for that. You could do that through text message now. Like they also have patient portals. So accessibility is increasing. It's not where it needs to be, but it is increasing.
Ooh,
yeah. Oh, awesome. That's a hot tip. Yeah, I got a whole list. They like texted me a list of these providers that they could, and I was like, I can't. Oh, I thought that's what I thought you were doing. So I got to work out. But I'll get there. I'll keep you updated, everybody.
I'm impressed that you keep at it. I think that I'm seeing. I am inspired to maybe like continue. I'm already disabled and on disability, so getting additional diagnoses isn't the barrier to certain things that it is for other people that want to. There's a big thing about if you are trans and get other diagnoses that might inhibit certain states to places to be like, oh, actually, well, if you're autistic, do you really know enough about your own gender to get transition care? So
which is like ridiculous too, because like autism makes you question everything and research everything so extensively that like it's like, I'm actually more informed than you could ever be, my friend.
We're actually Trevor's an expert on Trevor, LG's an expert on LG.
Yeah.
Well, right. I need help with the medical stuff. I tell you me. You tell you about my bod.
Yeah, it's really hard, especially when you have symptoms that don't align with something that they have in their current diagnostic manual, like the DSM-5, which is never. It's just never.
DSM-5 is so behind. DSM-5 is behind the ICD manual is like, I don't even know what it is. In grad school it was in like ICD 9. They're on like 11 or 12 now. It's embarrassing.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Yeah. And I think, for those folks who don't know and talk about with DSM, that those are diagnostic manuals in order to encode for insurance. And basically, if you don't hit certain criteria, you can't get insurance to cover it. And that's why a lot of doctors won't cover you with it. But I'm here to say that too, that if you have a doctor, a therapist, a counselor, any kind of medical provider for mental or physical, and they do not believe in you doing your own research or you doing self-diagnostic work or like looking up, even like learning from memes or TikToks in order to like help understand how your brain works. If they're not in support of that, find a new one, because they're not keeping up with the times. And that is a red flag, because like the internet is a wealth of knowledge of people comparing their viewpoints and examples. And that's how you actually do get the help you need. Because you're like, wait a second, this is a real thing. Like what I'm experiencing, someone else is experiencing. This isn't just something that's in my head that I'm making up, that I'm faking. Other people experiencing this too. And if a doctor poo-poos that, you've got to oop them. You know what I mean?
You've got to
I'm
oop
not doing it right. I'm not doing it.
Fine. I'll do it myself.
Yeah, I don't know. We're gonna get it. We're gonna get it. We're still. Oopin is one of the first ones.
I like oop oopin. I like oop oopin. Where was?
Yeah, it's still one of my top ones. Yeah. But yeah. Anyway, so. Anyways, it inspired us to do a whole theme for the show. I'll do it myself. So we're going to do it. We're going to talk about stuff you can do. And, you know, it's also kind of funny, too, because doing it by yourself in this case is actually really literally reaching out to, like, finding other people to connect with, and you're not doing it by yourself. That's the funniest thing about this theme is that when I'm encouraging you to do it by yourself, it's actually literally don't do it with other people. Don't do it by yourself. Reach out and learn from each other because we're supposed to learn from each other. It's so ridiculous. Like, yeah, I don't know. I've seen folks be like, oh, you can't, like, don't learn from TikTok. Like, not everything it says on TikTok. She was like, obviously not everything on TikTok it says is true. However, you know, I've gotten information from TikTok, from Reddit, of like, sometimes I'm like, this machine is broken in my house. How do I fix it? And there'll be a whole Reddit thread on it. And they're like, here's how you do it. And they're like, oh, wow. Like, that is great. Why, if it can work for a dishwasher, why can't it work for ADHD? Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, if you're working to fix to try a thing, you're looking to try a thing. I don't know. We should do a whole. I was gonna say we should do a whole show about diagnose, and I'm like, no, I did not pay to keep my license up. I'm not sure that I want to get into that.
No, we're doing a whole show.
We're doing a whole show. We're doing it.
But we're gonna do.
We're gonna do it live.
Play some games today.
We're gonna play some games today. We're gonna. You know what happens is that sometimes we decide on a show and rewrite it, and we script it out, and it doesn't work because we just have to throw it away and do it live.
I can't do it. Okay. We'll do it live.
Okay.
We'll do it live. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Things
rocks.
It's the turd noise at the end for me.
Yeah, the
part of that. You
Is
really,
it a turd? You guys think it sounds like a turd?
You hear him hit the toilet bowl.
Yeah.
You hear the bloop.
The bloop. The bloop.
Bloop. Bloop. Well, that's how splish splash, it was taking a bath.
Yeah, great. I have no problems with that. Yeah, but though, speaking of doing it live, yes, we are, all three of us are actually coming up into a big festival Pig is hosting. Yes, Providence Improv Guild Division Scholarship Fundraiser Festival. So this is all a weekend, a Friday and Saturday and Sunday of shows and workshops and sketch and improv and wonderful things, all devoted to raising money that is going into a scholarship fund, which is really a scholarship that if you are not a straight white guy, cis white guy between the ages of like 20 and 55, this scholarship is for you. So it's because that's a demographic that we have a lot of in both at Providence Improv Guild and
improv,
all comedy.
All comedy. I don't know if anybody has ever seen any comedy.
Yeah.
No,
so,
okay. Well,
yeah, it's really so we're trying to set aside money because one thing is that because it's like historically you're underpaid if you are not in those demographics. We also want to make sure that its classes are affordable and accessible. So that's what Pig is hosting, and who's around is part of it. We have a live segment at 5 p.m. Do we have I wish we just had some kind of little promo video for that. Do you have anything?
I wish we had a promo video. Dear Trevor, you made a promo video for that, right? Didn't you? Which were you in charge of this?
Yeah, Trevor, did you make that promo? Can we see what you made, bud? Can we just see it?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Thanks. Okay.
Live from the Providence Improv Guild, it's Who's Around? Starring LG and Bowler.
August 27th at 5 p.m. That was great, Trevor. You really did a great job.
That was really great.
It looked like SNL. Were you inspired? That was really good.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
How come you didn't put your sets of the sketch in there?
Yeah, it's
I
weird.
mean, your sets of the fest in there, because you're opening and closing the fest.
Oh, yeah. I'm taking a part in the Helpers and Friends with Roy and some other people. And then the sketch show at the end. Yeah.
Opening and closing. This is the kind of Trevor content we come online to see. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the fest, I assume it's going to be live streamed too for those of you who can't who can't join us, but don't. And you can also donate money on the Improv Pig website. If you can spare it, if you can just be there and support us online with shares, that's awesome too. Pig is a nonprofit that really relies on word of mouth advertising. Because that is actually our biggest budget item, which is zero budgets devoted to word of mouth. So if you have a mouth and you can spread the word, do, because it really helps us out a lot, help Pig out a lot. Yeah, so yeah, we have that festival coming up. We are going live, and as part of that festival too, I'm also teaching a workshop too. Trevor, did you make any promotional videos for my workshop as well?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Oh, can we just see what you got? Thanks.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, do you really want to improve your improv? Give yourself a little tune-up? Well, let me show you how. Just go on the Improv Pig website, scroll down a little bit past our festival poster, then you're going to see my workshop. Then you can also see Jared's and Alan's, but my workshop's in the middle. Scroll on down and click Add to Cart, and it's yours. It's all part of the Diversity Fundraising Weekend, and you can read all about it on the Improv Pig website.
Wow, it's you were babysitting Pepper.
Yeah, and did you have like a slight Southern accent? What's that about? That's a little bit weird.
Yeah.
Because you're not you're not Southern, and I just was wondering why you had like a sudden Southern accent when plugging my workshop.
I mean, just to show the different things you can do when you're taking your workshop.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right. Okay,
Yeah.
I like that.
Character.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
love it.
7 spots left, everybody. There's only 7 spots left. So sign up if you can, if you want a little tune-up for your improv. So yeah, that festival's coming. That's next weekend. That's our very next show. So our next Who's Around show is actually going to be live at 5 p.m. at the Providence Improv Guild. It is going to be incredible. And
I have notes. We have
we had
notes.
a production meeting. We have ideas even. We have so much more, at least a half hour longer of prep work than we put into any of the other shows. So we're ready.
It was a while. We were there for a while.
It was a while.
Trevor, Master of Voices, the workshop's transformative.
Thank you.
I did my first live since I don't know, maybe October last year. I did some live improv at a workshop this weekend, and I only made one jizz on a tea towel joke, and I didn't even do it. I set someone else up for it, and I put the ball in the air, and they alley-ooped.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, anytime I've jizzed on a tea towel, it's been when the ball's in the air.
I feel like playing a game. Who wants to play a game? Let's play a game.
Yeah.
Everybody, we're playing a game. We're trying something new tonight. We're trying something new to this show because it's Thursday. It's August. We're feeling fancy, so we are going to try a little limitations game. So for those of you who don't know this kind of game, we are going to play. What the fuck is wrong with you? We have a whole there's a picture.
Trevor didn't make a video for this. Trevor,
no, there's a picture. Remember this?
Oh
yeah, picture that Google slide. Yeah,
the official Google slide that Trevor made and worked hard on.
Wow, I am so sorry that I made that banner when Trevor came. Wow. Now those are the original color palette for the old Citizens Bank, right? Like a throwback.
Yeah, it was a throwback to to my old.
No longer CEO. You're going into bigger and better, and less Royal Bank of Scotland related jobs.
Yeah.
Are they tied?
Royal Bank of Scotland owns Citizens Bank. Okay, so let's Yeah, everything in the world is owned by 6 people. Okay, so let's play this game. So for limitations game, what the fuck is wrong with you? Audience, we need you to type some suggestions of limitations that we are going to impose on our improvisers. For example, speaking in only 3-word sentences. Maybe everything you say has to be sung. Maybe everything you say has to be presented while you're standing on your head. See, I eliminated those 2, right?
Thank you. Thank God.
Yeah, okay. So audience, you can type in anything that you want as a limitation for our characters, and then we're going to be...
I noticed that Pepper also, in the middle of one of your films, Trevor, said, "Oh no," very loudly. I actually laughed so hard I woke up the dog.
Yeah, I love at the end. She's like, right and come on, check out this. Oh no! Oh no!
No.
Oh, it was your 2 notes.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Just don't do it. You know, audience, you can listen to Pepper. You can listen to us. They're both fine. They're both fine. You know.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh no!
Oh, you can first start with vowels. That's
oh no! I
That's
love it.
great. That is definitely going to be one of the limitations we're going to have. We just need a few more audience, and then we will assign them based on.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Wait, you know what she hasn't said in a while is we were doing pirates earlier.
Oh, the grr.
Grr.
She was holding a Sharpie marker and she was trying to get the cap off. That's how that started. And so she couldn't get it. She's like, grr, grr. Yeah, no, she's got a ton of words now. It's crazy.
It's good sentences. It's very scary. I'm trying to figure out how to represent Pepper at the live show.
Yeah, Pepper won't be at the live show, but we will. We'll have a grr,
grr, grr, grr.
Has to say, but dum, bum. Oh, I get it. Yeah, yeah, great.
Is that that's a rim shot, right?
That's technically a rim shot. Yeah. And then audience too, if you have more of these, you can feel free to send them in. I also, audience, I want to get a specific place that we are at. So a very specific location that we are at.
She's really mad at Trevor. Trevor, what'd you do? You made her record that video? Ooh. This one might be, I mean, it's not for Pepper. Pepper speaks in full sentences.
Yeah, right. But Goo Goo Gagas, we've got them.
Okay, we got
our 3 limitations. All we need, audience, is we need a place that we can all be. Preferably a place where these limitations would be a little bit awkward to the conversation.
Fuller, I want to know where a place is that wouldn't be awkward, that this is normal. That
you know, a college dorm room while you're all high. Fine.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
But, you know, if you're at like a funeral, less fine.
Oh my God. I don't want to spoil anything. It was comedy. There's no death in it. But if anybody finished League of Their Own, because there was a funeral scene early on, it's one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, awesome! I definitely want to watch that show.
Oh, Trevor, you see a League of? Watch the League of?
I've heard about it, but I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah,
it's so okay. It's good. It's the gayest. It's beautiful. And there's a great funeral scene. But we're not at a funeral. We're I like all these. You pick one.
Yeah, I was gonna go with in court. Mostly so that if Bagley watches the playback, he can be ashamed of me. But exactly. You know what I mean? Like, so
Bagley anal though. Bagley is a lawyer.
Yeah, right. No, Bagley. Ow. Is that someone from A League of Their Own?
Yeah.
All right. All right. Well, let's be in court.
Let's be in court.
So
are we assigning these?
Yeah, I do. So, Trevor and LG, let me know which ones you want. You can either you can't use words starting with vowels. You have to say but bum, I would assume, after every single thing you say. And then only speak and only goo goo gagas. Any of those jumping out to either of you two?
Trevor, you are our guest, and you worked so
Oh.
hard on those videos, most of them with Pepper.
I'll take the boom boom one.
Boom boom, great. You
Oh,
got
yeah.
boom boom. LG, which one do you want? You want vowels or goo goo gagas?
Do you have? I'll go for either of those. Are you?
I'm open to whichever. Yeah. I'm ready.
I'm gonna try the no word starting with vowels because I think that I could do that.
Okay, so you've got no words starting with vowels, and I will only speak in goo goo gagas.
I have to write down the vowels though.
It's A-I-O-U.
And sometimes,
why?
When Y begins a sentence, it's when Y begins a word, it's never a vowel. So you're fine. It doesn't act like a vowel and begins. Prove me wrong, America.
Hear ye.
What are you gonna do? I'm on the microphone. You're not. See, that's the power with these podcast bros is that they have the microphone. So they sound authoritative.
Well,
I've said lies all the time on the microphone, and it's whatever.
Y is a sometimes vowel.
Yeah, but it's not in the beginning. Okay, let's do this. Let's be in court. Okay, and go.
We are gathered here today to listen to my closing remarks, which are just that he didn't do it. Oops. I thought it was sentences.
Goo goo gaga goo goo gaga goo gaga.
Your Honor. Booms.
Googa.
I have clear evidence that the defendant did do it. Boom.
Goo goo gaga.
No, my license is on the line here.
Googa googa googa.
Objection.
Goo goo gaga.
I object to that objection. Boom.
May we come closer to the judge?
Can we approach the bench, Your Honor?
Show off.
Boom.
Googa.
They did do it.
Mm-hmm.
What happens now?
He goes to jail because I have the evidence that, booms.
Could you take this seriously, please?
I am as serious as I can be. Boom.
Boom. Thank you,
Your
Honor. I forgot for the first full 2 sentences that it was word, not vowel. Not the first word of the sentence. I was like, oh, this is very, very easy.
Yeah.
You just don't start with an I.
No,
Nope.
You had a ton. Is it? But it was all like the little words too. It wasn't. You weren't like you got it. But it was good. It was good.
Trevor, I love a flat but I love just beautiful choice.
Hey, before we get to our last game, we're gonna play a guessing game. Heads up. Before we get to our last game, I just want to say something real quick about that game, about the limitations game. So for those of us who play this game, like when you're doing the improv itself, it's like really frustrating because you like can't do all the things you want to say, but like it's also like you're doing like the absolute best you can with what you have, because like you can't like do anything different. You have to do the thing. And this is kind of like a note for our past selves and maybe like maybe even our parents if they're watching. Sometimes you have limitations in your life and you do the best you can with what you have, and sometimes the best you can isn't good enough to make a really awesome scene. Like that wasn't an accurate court description, like it wasn't a good court scene, but it was like no, it was silly and fun. It was good improv scene, but like it wasn't like a realistic court scene because of the limitations we have. And all the time in our lives we have limitations on like the resources we have at our hand, like the knowledge we have, what's in our brain, our energy levels, everything. Like there's limitations. And you know, in regards to this game, like your past selves, your parents, whatever, like they had limitations, and you can have limitations and you can do the best you can, and it cannot be good enough to do the thing that you're trying to do. Like if we were going to say that was like a realistic court scene, that would not be good enough, and it was the best we could do, and those two things can exist at the same time. So like I kind of had this realization this morning of like, oh, you know, like my parents did the best they could and it wasn't good enough for me, and those two statements can exist at the same time. And your past self can do the best that they can, and it can be not good enough for what you needed, what you perhaps could have done, right? And you don't always know it, but you had those limitations. So you know, just like as an improviser, like when you're playing that game, you're like, I'm like trying to make the best choices I possibly can, like by saying like objection, you know, or like be like, I have all this evidence, this guy's going to jail, ba-doom boom. Like you're doing the best you can. That is like the best line you can create. And it can be a line that is like not the funniest thing you've ever said, because you have these limitations in place. And I think we need to remember that about our past selves and about people who have influenced our lives, is that odds are they were doing the very best they could, but they had limitations that maybe they knew about or didn't know about. And, you know, therefore could only say things like goo goo gaga and had to express the authority of a judge, which, you know, at various times I did and didn't do, you know. And I think we all did great. I think we did great in the grand scheme of things of like doing online improv, right? I'm not trying to like improv, and I'm also trying to acknowledge the fact that if you have limitations, you are not able to pick the best words for the scene, because the best words for the scene wouldn't have any limitations.
If people had other resources available to them.
Exactly. If we had other words, if I had other words available to me, I would have picked better words for that scene.
Therapy. Maybe if their parents went to therapy, it would be cool.
Well, exactly. So maybe if your parents went to therapy, if your past self had gone to therapy, started therapy earlier, if your past self had more money, more supports, if your past self had more like food choices, your past self had more like anything, you know, like anything you could think of. But you had these limitations, and you did the best you could with what you had. But sometimes what you had isn't what you really needed at that time. You needed other stuff. And so sometimes you can still have a bad outcome, or like an outcome that doesn't feel as good. Anyways, now we can go back to the funny. But I want to share that with people. I had that thought, and I was like, oh, you can show that in a limitations game. And I was like, oh, wow. We're all just like life, one big limitations game that we're just trying to do like the best we can. And sometimes
thanks for sharing that. That was good.
Oh no, thanks. Yeah,
that's a huge empathy increaser, I think. I don't know, for me. That made me think of my giving people a break. That's what I got out of that.
Yeah. And people, remember that you're people. That's the hardest thing for me to remember. I'm always like, oh, I can give anybody a break and can be compassionate to anyone else, but I should be part of that anyone. I should be part of that people. I'm like, yeah, people deserve compassion. I'm people. People deserve rest. People deserve like to help. And it's like, I'm people, Melissa. I'm people, which I often forget. I only call myself Melissa when I'm like doing
I only dead name myself. If Emily, I only say Emily if I like stub my toe, or like, Emily, you fucked that up.
If you're chastising yourself, right? Yeah. Because that's nothing to do with the voice of your parent being stuck in your brain and your subconscious. Anyways, okay, let's move on. Let's go on?
Chloe, come on, get with the program. We're doing funny here.
Yeah, Chloe, now you got ambushed with some freaking therapy. We are dropping it. We are dropping this hits right now. Yeah,
We have to put
yeah.
that on the show. We
Please,
gotta,
for all the parents to get the help they needed to do better.
yeah.
Yeah, seriously, time machines for everybody. Free time machines for everybody. People deserve time machines. Okay, let's go to a guessing game. Trevor, we are going to stick you in a site-proof booth. Could you click off to another tab? And audience, we are going to make Trevor guess some things. So while Trevor's in the site-proof booth, audience, what
Trevor is looking up Ally Bank and how to take down citizens.
Good for you, Trevor.
Yeah.
Those big banks. So we are here. We are. So you know what I mean. If you tune in for Who's Around, if you're not staying for both the light dose of therapy, group therapy, and the comedy, you've picked the wrong show.
You picked the wrong
folks
show.
At home, we need some things from you while Trevor is in the site-proof booth. We need you to type in some suggestions of a thing that Trevor has done in the past. We're going to play Spin Team. I'm just deciding this right now in this instant. Improv, baby. We're going to play Spin Team. And in Spin Team, we need a suggestion. Improv, baby. We need a suggestion of a famous person Trevor was with and a naughty thing Trevor has done with that famous person. It should be just naughty and not like real crime. So, Roy, isn't the therapy you get right now? Well, I'm glad we're going to up our show. First of all, we're going to up our frequency. And then secondly, we're going to start charging a copay.
Me too. I think, I don't know if you were here when I said I might have to maybe, email or call or have an intern set up a therapy appointment for me.
Yeah, email. Listen, and though I just want to also validate that, Roy, like this is the only therapy you get. Like obviously therapy with a real therapist is obviously like the best, right? But do get it where you can. I get realizations from like memes. I get it from reading a book and identify with a character, and the character goes through a thing that I went through and is like, hey, I'm like, oh wow, look at this from this perspective. Like get it from anywhere you can. No therapy is bad therapy because we can learn from each other, you know?
I just got a little moment of clarity from an improv game in the middle of the workday.
Exactly. And this is obviously, Chloe, if you make a suggestion like this, we're obviously going to use it.
We're obviously going to use it. Trevor carved dicks.
Your suggestion.
Oh my God, I can't believe I just did that.
You're okay. You don't suggest it. I don't know. Trevor looks frozen right now. I think we're good.
Trevor does look frozen. I have done my COVID brain is off the charts today for as far as I couldn't figure out. Neither of us could figure out for 5 freaking minutes why we couldn't hear Trevor. I hadn't added him to the
stream. We're all right.
To the stream.
We figured it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Your brain works differently sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And all we need also is a famous person for Trevor to be. This could be a historical person. This could be cartoon character. This could be fictional. This could be whatever you want to suggest. But yeah, audience, that's sort of like that pause me this morning. I was like, oh, that's it. Yeah, limitation games are really fun in improv, and they are inherently the worst. Like if you were to write the scripts of improv scenes down, like and transcribe them and read them back later, a limitations game would be an awful scene.
Yeah. We played some at the workshop.
Live, it's fun to watch.
Yeah. We did some like that where it was making it easier to do character stuff if you just have sometimes limitations make it easier. So most of the time it's harder. But it was interesting to see it be an easier thing.
Well, a limitation like can be like you are a pirate. Like, you know, that can be a limitation and you can only speak in pirate talks. And, you know.
Like Pepper?
Like Pepper. She's a It's great.
We've got some suggestions in here.
Yeah. So the accomplice, don't say it out loud. Let's go with this.
That's what I was looking at. Yep.
You're gonna need the manpower. Okay. So we have our 2 things. Audience, all we need from you is to fill up some emojis into our and fill up our chats with emojis, and then we can then bring Trevor back from our site-proof booth, and we can play this game, So
Oh, what's this? Oh, comment. Look at that.
look at that.
That's a cool emoji. Does that emoji show up for everybody?
I'm not seeing it. I'm seeing this emoji as
Are
a
you seeing?
no. All right. Yeah. So Trevor, you can come on back from the site-proof booth. Are you back already?
Okay.
You're back here. All right, great.
Yeah,
You can come on back. We have our.
Can you see this emoji, Trevor? Does this come through as an emoji? What do you see? Describe this emoji.
It's it's a pig with like a scholarship scroll. I don't know.
That's it.
Scholarship scroll.
It's shitting scholarships. Oh my god. I'm gonna make a logo for pig shitting scholarships.
Pig shitting scholarships. That's good. Okay. So Trevor, as your PR representatives, I just want to say this: we're not upset with you. Okay, I want you to know that we understand why you did it. Our job, though, is to make the public not upset with you, because I think the public is.
Yeah, we want them to know you the way that we know you. Yes. Which is just enough to know that you're a good person, but not too much more than that.
Yeah. And if anything, we want to talk about the influence that you were under. I mean, you were hanging around a bad crowd. And I say crowd because 3's a crowd.
Right. Yeah. And it was hard to handle in that type of situation I was in.
Yeah.
Too many people.
Too many
people, and you got overwhelmed. And I think that's the angle we're going to go, is that you didn't know who to listen to, and you're pulled in different directions. And obviously the act is way more conducive to their hobbies than to yours. I mean, they're risk takers. They like
daring.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they kind of peer pressured me into doing what they wanted me to do.
Yes. Peer pressure. You were
this angle. This is good.
Yeah, like tri-cornered into a
and you see them and you're like, no, I don't tan. Yeah.
No, I don't, because then that would be bad.
Darn.
Mm-hmm. Darn, yeah.
Tan, yeah. Mm-hmm. You don't.
No. No, it was like, when I was with the Jersey Shore people. No.
That has not come out.
No.
We are going to keep
I wasn't. Okay.
Well, let's not even bring that up. It's not. No one knows about the Snooki night, and I think we just keep it under wraps.
Do you guys mind if I have a snack while we're doing this? I'm feeling a little peckish for some
No, please,
chocolate.
Please. Yeah, like a chocolate with maybe a creamy nougat center.
Oh, yes.
That would be great. Yeah, very light and fluffy.
You know what? It's actually. I'm going to take this seriously. I can wait a little bit. I want to be able to talk.
And this is a question that just occurred to me. If their logo is, their slogan is all for one for all, why aren't they here to support you? Why are they suddenly disappeared after that night? What I mean?
Who was the all that they're talking about? Because it's not everyone.
Right.
Yeah, it was, Well, it didn't really involve other than the 3 of us, I guess.
Yeah, I feel like right now, you might be feeling like you are double crossing them, like double crossing swords, or stabbing them in the back,
or even triple crossing them.
Yeah, you might be thinking you're triple crossing them. And I want to say that you have to look out for you. You are number one. You are a number one priority.
Number one.
Now is the time to be a little selfish. I mean, and they're French, right?
Your language skills, you pick up new languages like it's nothing. You don't need full immersion, okay?
No. And I think, we don't know, I think also, the hats can be intimidating, that is part of it. Their swords, they have swords. They're literal, they are swashbuckling, I think.
And the pen is mightier. They just pull it right out of their hands.
Yeah.
But
listen, let's, they were there. We want to talk about what happened.
We got to talk. I feel like Bowler, are we not just just sort of fancy footworking our way around what really happened here, and talk about another group of 4 people.
Yeah, what's with the multiple people? Is this like a thing? But that's fine. Listen, I honestly, when I saw the images, my first reaction was laughter. I thought it was funny. My first thought was like, oh, did they fall asleep with their shoes on? You know what I mean? That was what I was thinking. I made that joke. Like if I was still doing stand-up, I probably would have integrated that joke in my set of like, oh, they must have fallen asleep with their shoes on, like that kind of comedy. But so I thought it was funny. But I think some folks, like, the MAGA folks, the people who are like misplacing their patriotic symbol, I think they're going to be upset because they view it as disgrace and vandalism and disgracing the fort,
which is something they don't want you to say.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Right, so I graffitied something that I shouldn't have.
Well,
or wrote
I think if it was graffiti, it would have been honestly. If it was graffiti, if it was like spray paint, it would have been better. I think because it was you were using a sharp tool to.
Okay.
I think that's where it got a little bit more permanent. You're adding more definition to the rock face. And not Wayne, obviously, right?
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yes.
That's just a rock.
So I carved the Mount Rushmore presidential faces with like a like a hammer and chisel, what do you call it?
Wherever those tools are.
A hammer and chisel or whatever. It's the tools people aren't upset about. I think it's the carving itself.
It's the tools
that
people are upset about. It's not the tools that you use. It's the tools.
And I understand I think, it's a very wide canvas and you're like, what can I fit here? I can fit, at least an entire package set, entire bit of family jewels. I feel like like
America's family tree.
Yeah, I think it's like kind of, again, I laughed. I was like, that's right. They are, you know what I mean? I guess, some people it's pornographic.
Yeah, it was a lot of genitalia on the forehead is what I carved into the,
Yeah.
And every time,
sorry, it was
But again, we're going to lean on the fact that you were influenced. You were there. Yes, you were carving dicks in Mount Rushmore's forehead. Yes, okay. And, really, you were being peer pressured by, that I won't even say their names. They're just the 3 of them. I'm so upset with them.
Are you hungry? Because you look like maybe you need a Snickers.
I'm a bit peckish,
I love Snickers, but I wish I could eat a Snickers, but remove the caramel and the peanuts.
Oh.
Make it that.
Okay. No.
It was the Three Musketeers, right? No.
We. And no, I'm not starting a sentence about us. I'm saying
no.
The French.
We are starting a sentence with a vowel.
We. That starts with an O.
Yeah.
Because yes, it was in fact the
Three Musketeers and I.
Musketeers and you.
And honestly, I think it's the best improvement that has
to the Mount Rushmore. Yeah, Mount Rushmore. I appreciate that. Yeah.
If I could add another person on Mount Rushmore, it would be Trevor.
No, but just or just take all CEOs of banks.
No. Just Trevor. No.
Okay. 4 me's.
This is the fell asleep with their shoes on joke.
Oh, that's a thing that's still right. Like I always thought it was the last person who falls asleep.
In my college, it was if you fall asleep with your shoes still on, then you were fair game to be drawn on with Sharpie.
Oh.
So usually people were like feeling like they're going to pass out. They just quickly took their shoes off, and then you were scot-free.
Oh my gosh! Okay, we didn't have a way to escape that. That's a smart.
And if someone was passed out and it was your friend, and you didn't want your friend to get drawn on, you would just quickly take their shoes off Because if their shoes are off, fine, you're in the clear. That's the rules we had. But that's when you go to a Catholic college, you have morals.
I'm sorry, where'd you go to? Can you say that? You want me to bleep it out?
No, it's okay. You can say Providence College. They don't get any money from me now. Like sometimes they ask me, they're like, "Can you donate some money?" I'm like, "Donate? I paid you so much money to go there. You don't need to donate anything. I've already paid. I've already paid."
I've got to bring this. Chloe said she was initially going to say that Trevor carved himself onto Mount Rushmore, but then thought he's too good for that.
No, and Trevor's like, I'm not carving myself into sacred land. You know what I mean? You're above that. You're above that.
Yeah, kind of like the people who made Mount Rushmore.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Just decided to put 4 presidents on beautiful. I would like to say that if any genitalia shows up, carved, painted, or otherwise on Mount Rushmore, that was not Trevor.
Yeah.
I'm blaming the Snickers.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
And all Mars.
Not feeling yourself? Grab a Snickers.
Yeah. Are you about to carve a dick on a Mount Rushmore? Grab a Snickers. Okay.
Grab a Snickers. Yeah.
That is the end of our show. So just one last final plug. We've got this weekend. We've got an Interrobang show.
Interrobang. Hey, I'm Justin. Jimmy. Paula. Tom. Brad. Interrobang. We do the improv. We get the laughs. Ha ha. We are the funny. You bet your ass. Brad. Interrobang. Bang, 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 bang. Interrobang. Interrobang and nice things now at 8 p.m. Brad.
So
I notice a new thing every time I see it, Muller. I love it.
Yeah, that's another one. And we'll just plug again. We've got our live show coming up. We've got our the scholarship fundraising weekend. Workshops are up on the website. Classes are on the website too. I am teaching level 4 in September. It's not on the website yet, but I think it will be.
I was floating my idea to Trevor before the show started.
Awesome. So thank you all for joining us and playing along. Thank you, Trevor, for being on. You were wonderful as usual. And let's play us out. Let's play us out.
What do you mean? What do you mean to play us out? What does that mean?
Who's around right now, baby, right now? Do an improv, baby, right now, now, now. Who's around right now, baby, right now? Do an improv, baby, right now, 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 now.
Do it.